For example, if you are of mixed race in South Africa, a place where white people make up 7% of the population, but own 70% of the land, and Julius Malema, their next president or man running for president, wants to take resources that were stolen from Africans and put them back in Africans' hands, that means probably kicking out a lot of European descendants. If your mother was a European descendant and your father was a black South African, then which side would you choose? You see what I'm saying? Would you not pick a side and try to remain neutral in that instance? That wouldn't be pro-black. That makes you something else. Pro-black means prioritizing what's in the best interest of our community and building in our community. So that means there's only one choice. And that means, Mom, you ain't supposed to be here. I understand I'm the product of war, but at the same time, I gotta choose what's right. Y'all stole this land, you gotta go. That would be a biracial pro-black person. Peace and power to the descendants of my ancient mother. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. What's going on, y'all? Back again. Tell a friend. I'm going to give it a moment for people to come in here. What up? After another day of coding and doing things, you know what I'm saying? Doing things for the people. Just coming to talk to y'all again. What up? Peace and power. What's going on, y'all? I'll let my hair down. I've been in the dungeon working away on Sankofapedia. We got some big news on the way, big things we're making. You know what I'm saying? Making some things with Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? Not jerk chicken, though. I need some jerk chicken. I miss Jamaican food, man. I miss Jamaican food. I miss the East Coast, man. Some good Jamaican food. Today, we're saying can't be pro-black with a non-black spouse. You know, just some light work. I'm going to be up here for probably like 30 minutes, but just wanted to talk to y'all, man. I've been working on Sankofapedia. We got some good things coming. B1 Initiative. Appreciate y'all's support. We've been getting a lot of support from brothers and sisters, man. Shout out to y'all. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the link in my bio, b1initiative.org. If you want to donate, you can. Peace, Linda. What's going on? Peace. What up? Hey, if you never had pumpkin pie in your life, tap like, as always. You know what I'm saying? If you're melanated and proud, tap like. Salute, Draco. What's good, my brother? Hope everybody's been blessed, you know what I'm saying? Eating good, sleeping good. Don't forget to sleep good, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget to rest, y'all. Don't forget to rest. Some of us, we like to work. Don't forget to rest. We're Africans. We need to remember to rest, man. We work really hard. Africans are the hardest working people on earth. Don't ever forget that. Peace. What up? We're the hardest working people in mankind's history. We work harder than everybody else. Don't forget to rest. Remember, only a slave feels guilty for not working. Only a slave feels guilty for not working, y'all. Don't forget to rest. We work hard. Peace, beauty, plus the size. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like to bring up Mexicans and All other races of people, when they talk about working hard, I think it's real funny when the thin Lipians come around talking about they the hard working ones. I'm a hard working American. I work hard. I'm a hard working American. Y'all the laziest people on earth. Don't play with me. Y'all the laziest. I can't think of a people so lazy that they gotta go halfway across the world to go get people and take them up out their land to come get them to work for them. That's the laziest shit I ever heard. That's the laziest shit I ever heard in my life. Stop playing with me. A hard working American. You ain't nothing hard or working about y'all. Y'all soft. I don't hesitate to call out if I need a mental. I know that's right. Call out, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing that they tricked us, they told us that we was lazy, and so ever since we've been trying to fight back against that stereotype in our own minds. We fighting against lies told about us that we lazy. They ain't start calling y'all lazy until after you stop working for free. Y'all, you see what I'm saying? Shoot, even when y'all was working for free, they call you lazy because they want you to work harder. Take y'all days off, man. Don't ever feel guilty sleeping. Don't ever feel guilty getting some rest. It's all right. It's all right. And when you up, you know, if it ain't doing something to build your personal kingdom, build for your people. That's all I ask. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I build for the kingdom I'm building with my queen, and then I'm working, building Sunco for PD. I'm doing something for us, man. That's it. Every day, day in, day out. It's a discipline at this point. It's a discipline. But yeah, y'all. Today we got you can't be pro-black with a non-black spouse. I love bringing out the definition of pro-black, you know, maybe talking to y'all about, you know, what it means, what it is, what it isn't. Some of y'all get it confused. 2020 tore some of y'all up as far as definitions go with being pro-black. Some of y'all think you're pro-black if you buy a pair of Jordans because it's black owned. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that actually. Um, y'all think y'all pro-black if you go get ice cream from a black-owned ice cream parlor. You know what I'm saying? So that's not what that is. We talk about pro-blackness. We're talking about prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building the black community. Jordan definitely don't care about us. No black billionaire cares about their people. Peace, Black Swan. Appreciate the gifts. No black billionaire cares about black people. Don't ever be fooled. Not one of them. Not a single one. If they got $1 billion in a hostile environment towards our people, peace to you, what up? In a hostile a hostile environment for black people, if you're able to thrive, you have to be anti-black. You must also be hostile towards black people in order to thrive in an environment that is hostile towards black people. You see how that works? So none of these billionaires, all these billionaire black men that we speak of, you can't name me one black billionaire that hasn't had to signal to white heteropatriarchy that they are on the same side. All black billionaires have had to signal to white heteropatriarchy that they are down with the get down. Peace rise with Queen Mel. What's going on, sister? They all gotta let them know that they down with the get down. There's many ways to do that. Jay-Z is not a threat. He shows white heteropatriarchy that he's down with the get down. He named his record label Rockefeller after a whitey patriarchal member of that white heteropatriarchy. So Rockefeller Records is named after one of the founders of the American white heteropatriarchy. Dave Chappelle showed that he doesn't have an allegiance to black people with his wife. Peace, raised days. Peace, peace. You see what I'm saying? There's many ways to show. There's many ways to show that you are not a threat to the white heteropatriarchy and the the billionaires that we have, the quote unquote entertainers that they try to make black leaders. Because understand that in a environment hostile to black people, peace, beauty plus the size, appreciate the gift. In an environment hostile to black people, the only ones that rise to the top are those that are conducive to perpetuating anti-blackness. That's the only way to get up. That's the only way to get up. It's the only way. Because who got all the money to pay these people? Where are they getting billions of dollars from? Who's allowing them to get this bread? In a place where we have economic disenfranchisement. How are they able to get billions? Peace, Skin X Co. What's going on, sister? And my brother Crime, what's going on?
It's me.
We forgetting you got this backup page. Y'all got all these backup pages.
I keep getting clipped. I got 3 accounts clipped. 3 of them.
Oh my goodness. You like the Kodak Black of TikTok.
Let me do my reset because I'm booming.
All right, go ahead.
All right, y'all. I need y'all to tap in and tune up. Go ahead. Put the tubs in the chat. We need the tubs in the chat, you guys. Tap, power, tap that screen. Share the live. Invite your friends, your frenemies. Invite your gosh darn enemies. But just know that you are in. Brother Legends Live, I need you to tap that screen, share the live, but make sure that you're tuned in, you're turned up. You guys, we got a project going on and we need your help. If you're free and you're open to volunteer your time, Fancopedia needs your help. I almost ruined that. I need you guys to tune in Discord and get into it. We've got a lot of job opportunities and different ways for you guys to help us incentivize, share, market, and push it forward. If you want to be a part of Black history, the real Black history, you need to tune in, get in touch with us on b1initiative.org and get into it. You guys, make sure that you're making donations as well. If you don't have the time, you got $1. Send $1 either here or subscribe to b1initiative.org where you can learn to be great. All right, y'all, bring down Babylon. Make sure that y'all send $1 a day. Everybody in this room, send at least $1. We got goals and missions to push. Don't forget, we also have merch. So, Brother Legend, you need to push that forward too so we can actually order our shirts, our cups, and everything else that you got going on. Hey, you guys, make sure you're tapping up, share the screen, follow Brother Legend here, subscribe on Twitter, YouTube, and every other platform. We here, we activated, and we showing up and showing out. Be a part of Black history, make it great. Let's go.
All right, appreciate you, Sister D. Thank you for the lovely reset. What's going on, Brother Crime?
Not much, bro. Just
Peace.
usual, you know. But what I've been observing with these live, it's not even a question. You made a statement. You said you can't be pro-black with a non-black spouse, but a lot of people would come on up and debate you because I think a lot of people trying to make their own perspective of what pro-black is and of what racism is. Everybody want to create their own little circle of things. And to be honest, I honestly think there's a bigger following of people to go against the facts. There are more people out there going against the facts than people that are willing to learn or to agree with proven facts. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they don't know what it is to be pro-black. That's where the problem would lies more than anything else. They got to check out what is pro-black, what is racism before they come up on these platforms. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's honestly the purpose of this live. Or at least that's what the proven purpose has been, to keep doing this live, is to speak on the definition of pro-black, because it's been lost after 2020, when y'all had white T-girls face painting little Black Lives Matter logos on their face, talking about they pro-black. It kind of warped everybody's definition of what pro-black was. So that's what the live kind of brings out. A lot of people think anti-racism is pro-black, and although anti-racism as a form of self-defense can be used in a way that is pro-black, of course, anti-racism as an objective for the black community is not pro-black. Like once you take your focus off the black community and put it on solving problems that exist in the white community towards black people, you've taken your eyes off the prize, which is us. So, that's the thing about it. I think talking about relationships is one of the easiest ways to really start to unpack some of that for a lot of people. Someone asked in the comments, oh, shout out to Melanin313. You know what's up. I read that comment. She know what's up. So what category do you put mixed race children in, black or non-black? If by mixed race you mean they have a black parent, then you tell me what society you put Barack Obama in. And I'll let that decide. I'll let you decide that one. What is Barack Obama? What is Barack Obama? And we'll figure you can figure that out yourself. If I told you my mother was white, would you put me in a different box? Or if I got on the elevator with your grandma, would she still clutch her purse? You let me know. I'm 6'4", by the way. So your little grandma probably, think twice before getting in the elevator with me. Peace, godson. What's going on, brother? Peace. KC, Kansas City. Okay. Got mad love for the Kansas City brothers and sisters, man. There's a lot of rich African American, Black American history out there, man. Mad love to y'all. We know about the ancestors. Biracial people place the fence. I don't see them as black. Nah, that's cap. They black until proven otherwise. Usually they'll prove otherwise pretty quickly. They might not be pro-black. We can talk about that. But if all black people were pro-black, we wouldn't need that word now, would we? If all black people were pro-black, we wouldn't need that word. We'd just be black. The problem is a lot of y'all COONs and not pro-black. So we need to specify who is down for the people, who's down for the cause, who's putting in the work, and who's there's four reactions to systemic oppression. There's submission, cooperation, resistance, and retaliation. Those are the four ways you can respond to systemic oppression. Submission. The second one is cooperation. Then there's resistance. Then there's retaliation. And I would say most of us are not retaliating. We're not retaliating. We're resisting, though. Some of us, I would say resistance is when you start to get to pro-black. Cooperation, that's when you vote for Hillary Clinton, I guess. No, cooperation is really, I'm just joking. No, cooperation is stopping at a red light. You're on the resistance side. Tell me what you do to resist then. Tell me what you do to resist. Obama chose black wife. That's why white man made white. They didn't think Obama was a threat. The black man with the white wife, they know they can't control. That is facts. They thought he was a threat, but they knew what side he was on. Obama was compromised by his mother long before he became president. No black man that wants to liberate his people is going to run for president. There's no such thing as a pro-black politician. There's no such thing as a pro-black politician. No such thing as a pro-black billionaire. No such thing as a pro-black celebrity. I can go on and on. It there are pro-black people that have notoriety. There are pro-black people that have acknowledgement. There's no pro-black people that have fame. Fame is different than all that other stuff I said. There's pro-black people that have been acknowledged by the community. PLO Lumumba, Julius Malema, Ibrahim Traore. The list goes on. But not a celebrity, not an entertainer. There's no such thing as a pro-black entertainer. Lumi, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I am. My name is Lumi. I'm 19, and I am biracial Afro-Indigenous.
That was really confusing. Could you narrow that down to one race?
I am black presenting.
All right, that sounds like you're just black with some seasoning, some other spices. Okay. You have a hard time saying you're black because you feel like it excludes everyone else?
No, I don't have a hard time saying that I'm black at all. I was actually just, while I was being raised, pushed away from my black side, and I am just now learning and accepting it myself. So, no, at this point in my life, I have no shame in saying that I'm black.
All right, real quick. I'm not going to address you. I'm going to address the comments. Biracial is not now a race. That is something that is part of a psyop by the YT community to get black people not to have an allegiance to their own community by saying that they're not part of the black community, because that way we won't come together and work together with each other. Instead, some of us will think that we're excluded from our community, despite the fact that we face the same oppression in different ways, but many of ways are still the same. Even if you're a white presenting black person, you still suffer from possibly generations of systemic oppression, passed down. You don't have the same springboard that a white family has. You don't have the same generational wealth. You still don't, if you get found out that, one of your parents are black and you're, I don't know, a Republican, they're going to treat you, differently than they would a white family. So you still, like Meghan Markle, like she has to wake up every day and straighten her hair. So the thing about the whole biracial is now a race thing, that's just anti-blackness. Like we see that. Whenever black people try to identify with anything other than their blackness, some of us try to identify with our sexual preference or gender identity before our race. Some of us try to identify with the land of our colonizer before our people. I'm Dominican, I'm Ethiopian, I'm no black, like y'all do all that. Some of us identify with the language we speak, anything before we'll admit that we're black or African. We'll say, I'm Spanish. Spanish is a language. What? And if anything, it's a nationality. So once again, y'all will cling to any other identity now biracial, which is a description, because there's no such thing as a uniform monolith of biracial people from a biracial land. The proper name of a people has always been tied to or relates to land, history, and culture. For thousands of years, that is how it has been. Land, history, or culture. Only now is there a new class of people called biracial that are, there's no land, there's no history, there's no biracial food or God or culture. So what are we doing? Why?
I agree with you. I agree with you. Here's the thing, too, just real quick. Biracial people, quote unquote, air quotes, biracial people, that whole thing started with the one drop rule, right? Remember that? Like, if you got one drop of black blood in you, you're black.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, take it through from the 17th century on, now we're like, now you're biracial. You can't be black. No, you're black. You're black. You either have to get over it and understand who your community is, because at the end of the day, you're never joining that YT club.
There you go.
That shit's just not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
You can think about it all day, like, how can I do anything? You are a black man. Your dad might be white. Your dad might be black, and your mom might be white or black. Blah 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 blah. Dude, your father might be black, and your mom might be Korean. You're still black.
Right.
That's just
You just have ties to a Korean culture. You have ties to, other cultures outside of, just black African culture. But at the end of the day, when we look at you, we see an African, because even those Koreans have the same genetic makeup of tribes that left Africa. So you can trace back your Korean ancestry at some point. Chinese people just did this, actually. A Chinese geneticist was able to trace back the origin of Chinese people back to people in East Africa. And guess what? They look like Chinese people with black skin and 4C hair. Like, like any other mixture that you can put back into black is just going to lead to you being black. So, let's go back to the other guest, though. Appreciate you, American Micro. Lumi, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
my
you
name
gave
is
us that. I'm sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead, talk. Go ahead, talk to us.
So, as I'm being educated about all of this, I fully understand that that you can't be pro-black, while doing everything that's been created in the mind of a white T, of the white T people, okay, including y- if you're pro, how do I word this? If you're pro-black, everything is going to be for your people. It is going to be strictly for you. You're going to be down with your people only. Okay. So that's where I wonder, can you be pro black while being, mixed with two things? Now, I'm not talking about, I understand that YT and black mixtures, I understand that. Now, I only wonder, and you did kind of dabble into it. I think that was American that said it. Maybe it was you. About maybe a Korean mom and a black dad. So what do we think about can you be pro black while being interracial, I guess you could say, when already
There's
that
things
you
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Only those to be black is to be mixed with something else. All black people are mixed. The Europeans created whiteness in terms of purity. Blackness is, in that sense, impure. That's what it means to be black. All black people are mixed. Africa is the most genetically diverse continent on earth. People on Africa, black as hell, are mixed with other black people, or people you would consider black, because there's over 3,000 ethnicities in Africa. 3,000 people that have lived together for thousands of years. We're American. America is less than 300 years old. This is thousands back to the earliest people of mankind. So they're mixed with other people, because before race even exists, there was different ethnicities and people was mixing. So to be black is to be mixed. We're like fruit punch. You know what I'm saying? So then white tea folks are like lemonade. If you mix fruit punch and lemonade together, it's fruit punch. It's just more lemony. You see what I'm saying? Because fruit punch has lemon in it. The lemons came from fruit punch. So everything else came from us. So when you put back what's already in, when you put back diversity into an already diverse gene pool, then you're not making something new. You're just bringing back what left in the first place. Does that make sense? But as far as pro-blackness, that's an ideology, not that has nothing to do with genetics. So that's an ideology. It does have something to do with heritage, of course. You can't be pro-black and not black. But yeah, so I mean, if you're pro-black and non-black, you're just in the way. So we don't need that. But pro-blackness is prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building a black community. Understand, when I say best interest, I mean the best interest above all other interests. And that's what a lot of even black people have a hard time with, especially if you're in an interracial relationship. And it even compromises you if you have an affinity for or seek a proximity to your non-black parent. Because if what was in the best interest of the black community was against the best interest of your non-black parent, would you still do it? Or would you turn on your people? For example, if you were of mixed race in South Africa, a place where white people make up 7% of the population but own 70% of the land, and Julius Malema, their next president or man running for president, wants to take resources that were stolen from Africans and put them back in Africans' hands, that means probably kicking out a lot of European descendants. If your mother was a European descendant and your father was a black South African, then which side would you choose? You see what I'm saying? Would you not pick a side and try to remain neutral in that instance? That wouldn't be pro-black. That makes you something else. Pro-black means prioritizing what's in the best interest of our community and building in our community. So that means there's only one choice. And that means, Mom, you ain't supposed to be here. I understand I'm the product of war, but at the same time, I gotta choose what's right. Y'all stole this land, you gotta go. That would be a biracial pro-black person.
Okay, yeah, I totally understand that.
A great example. I grew up in an extremely white world. Extremely white world. Like I had 2 black teachers in 18 years of public school. That's it. When I get on the phone, I'll give you another example. I'm talking to the VP of sales. I got the job. I've been going through these interviews for 2 weeks. He looks up in the right hand of my the icon in my Gmail. Didn't know I was black. Here's the thing about being black in America. When you wake up in the morning, whether you're biracial or not, okay, and you walk out your door, whether your wife is white, white, whether she's Korean, whether she's Japanese, and you're a black man, when you walk out that door, you're a black man. That's it. And guess what? When your children go outside, they're black. They're black. When you have melanin in your skin, you're black. There's no try to get rid of the if and or buts. Well, if this and well, what about this? But there's no whataboutism when it comes to being black in America at this point in time. There's no whataboutism. Get rid of your whatabouts. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? Just really, really try and understand and accept the fact of who you are.
At this
Okay?
point in time is a good that's a good nuance to bring out, because when we talk about pro-blackness, and being for your community, some of the tactics that are necessary for our survival right now doesn't mean it'll always be this way. And that's also why we make this live, to speak to the definition of what our people should focus on as an objective, because pro-blackness is not going to change its definition until black oppression does. Until black oppression no longer exists, there's only going to be one answer. There's only one way to drink water. You can try to drink it through your nose, drink it through your ears, pour it on your forehead. None of that's going to quench your thirst. There's only one way to solve the problem. So that being the case, as long as black oppression remains under the same context in which it has for 400 years, there's only going to be one solution to that answer. And that's for us to prioritize ourselves and build amongst each other. But let's go to the next guest too. Yelly, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 33. Black, he, him.
All right, what's going on, brother?
So to answer the main question, uh, no, I don't think you can date outside race and be pro black because I think that pro black means to privatize everything black, and if you're not privatizing the black woman, then you're not pro black. And
I heard that.
yeah, so if, you know, so that's my thoughts on that. I did wanted to ask though, because I heard you guys talking about if you're mixed, you're just black. What about the people who are phenotypically white tea passing that they don't have an ounce of black looking in them, but they're biracial? Would you consider them black?
That's a good question. So, um, when it comes to those that are white presenting, is different than white passing. White presenting means that she might look like Gwyneth Paltrow, but she knows that, and she still is deeply entrenched in our culture. And then white passing could be, Meghan Markle straightening her hair every day, making sure that none of those African features are showing before she step out, paparazzi catch her with a curl, God forbid, so that's different. If you're white passing, if you're actively trying to pass as the colonizer, then, go ahead. We don't need you. But if you're somebody that presents, um, you're not black with a lowercase b, but you're black with a capital B, as long as you're a part of the culture. The things that tie us together is not our phenotype. Phenotype is not the only deciding factor in what makes someone black with a capital B. I mean the proper noun, black, not black as in melanin. When we talk about black phenotypically, a lot of times people don't specify the difference. For example, Aboriginal people in Australia, they're phenotypically black, but they're not black with a capital B. They don't have that tie to Africa. Black with a capital B means you have uh, ties to the land, history, and culture of African people going back thousands of years, meaning your culture is in some way tied to African civilizations. If you were to go back thousands of years, a lot of us here in America don't understand that the reason we call yams yams is because we actually had yams in Africa, and in America, they got sweet potatoes, but they look like yams. So our ancestors started picking them up and seasoning them the way they would season yams in Africa. And so that's why we call them yams, because they're not yams, but we still have African culture even in our food. Um,
Right.
Food is one expression of culture, and then history, meaning your bloodline, your lineage, your mother, going back thousands of years. What land would you be standing on 1,000 years ago? If that land is Africa, then cool. That's another tie, and then of course, land, history, and then culture. Uh, like they all play a part. I would say phenotypically and genetically is a thing that matters. Genotype, phenotype, but that culture part is what's most important. Like if someone is white presenting and they don't know about yams, they eat apple pie or something. I don't know, cherry pie. I don't know. Black people don't eat. Do black people eat cherry pie? I don't be. I never went to a cookout and had cherry pie. You might buy a cherry pie, maybe. You might be. I don't think we.
Pumpkin
Somebody
pie,
said
pumpkin
no.
pie.
You said what now?
Pumpkin pie as opposed to sweet potato pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If they eat pumpkin pie, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If they eating pumpkin pie and grape salad, look up grape salad. It's nasty work. Um. But yeah, they eating grape salad, raisin salad. You know what I'm saying? Some of that wild mess. Then that's how you know that even if this person is saying they black here, they gotta be black full time. They have to full time have that in them, and we can tell. Y'all know y'all can tell. As soon as you talk to them, when they say hi guys, yeah, all right. You might say you black and throw up your little fist here and there, but
Uh, I have one more question, but I also wanted, there was somebody in the comments, and I wanted your perspective on this. Not that I agree with what they're saying, but it was just a question. I think La Bude had asked, um, if you're pro black and white, how are you in the way? And I kind of wanted you to elaborate on that.
ain't no such thing as pro black and white. A white person that's pro black,
No, I mean
that's
no, because you had
that's
said
like saying
earlier. You had
that's
said
like saying if
you
you're
had
an
the
ice cube,
idea. You had
what?
said earlier you had said earlier if you're pro black and white, then you're in the way, and she asked that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, I know. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that's the reason I say that because there ain't no such thing. Ain't no
okay.
such thing. That's like saying if you're an ice cube on fire, you know, you ain't an ice cube. Yeah, if you on fire, you ain't an ice cube. But you definitely not gonna cool down the drink with us. You just in the way. You just in the way of the real ice cubes we need to cool everything down with. You know
All
what
right.
I'm
And
saying? Like,
the last question I had, my personal question was, so I know you're Pan African, and I love those ideologies too. I was in a live and somebody had brought something up, and it kind of made sense to me, and I wanted your thoughts on it. So they were talking about how, a lot of um black people from the diaspora, they come here, and they usually kind of, you see a lot
America.
of them, like, kind of,
You say
uh,
here. What do you mean? America or TikTok?
to America,
Okay.
yeah. And they align with whitey ideologies. You know what I mean? Like, you hear a lot of people from Africa, from the islands, talking about, oh, my parents came here and worked. You guys are making excuses. And
Yeah.
or when you see black people, have a right kind of ideology, they usually come from out of America. And so they was like, they felt like African Americans need to gatekeep more. It doesn't matter whether you're black or anything else, because a lot of people, the propaganda pushes people to be against us in the first place. And as a black person from the diaspora, at least having lineage from the diaspora, because I was born and raised here, parents, Puerto Rican and Dominican, both black. You know what I mean? I know this to be true within my culture. Like, I'm
Mhm.
very Americanized, so I don't, even with my own people, I don't have people come and try to violate. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I
Not
know. I know about Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, so I
right.
know. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
Anybody that comes to your plantation to make it a home is not going to help you tear it down. You know what I'm saying? So they got their plantation, but they come over to our plantation. That should automatically give you pause. Like they're not gonna help us tear down the plantation that we gonna tear down. They came here because they wanted a better place to come to. So they decided to come here. So you gotta think about that. Think about how racist America is, what America is doing to the African continent. But they decided to come to the belly of the beast. So those that leave Africa and decide they want to come here for quote unquote a better life should let you know these are not the people we should judge African people on the continent by.
Well, one of the
Because
points that they did make was that there's a distinct difference between African people from the continent of Africa and African people from the diaspora, and I think that's true, because you gotta. I think when it comes to like the diaspora, we're more, um, we have there's more like a we're more colonized. You know what I mean? So there's still, we have these same type of oppression. So I think that, or more brainwashed. You know what I mean? Like, you have
I
the
don't know
color
about
caste
that.
systems. Well,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna speak for, like, I'm gonna say, like, in Puerto Rico or DR, you have things like, limpiando la raza, which means, date outside of your race so you could clean the race and make it more white and pure. You have the color caste systems, and they don't really advocate like Americans do, because they kind of operate under, their nationality or their like flag, as opposed to their blackness or their whiteness. You know what I mean? So it all get lumps up, and then they have the same problems that they do here in America. However, they're not as addressed as much, because they're not even pushed to the forefronts of, like, how in America, like, they fight for these things. You know what I'm saying? So,
mm,
I can't really speak for all of the islands. I do know there's some islands that are, predominantly more black, and they did, they did fight just as much, like Hades or Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? But you would, I think that there is a difference between people from Africa who still have like more, not because there's the African connection is through all of us. You see it in all the cultures. That's one thing that connects us. But I think they still have more of a connection to that as opposed to a lot of nations that were colonized. If that makes any sense.
Um, I think that that take requires more nuance because there's a lot of people in Africa that worship white Jesus, like you wouldn't believe. You know, like it's a mental illness. I seen a video of them crying, weeping. It was like they was forcing themselves to cry, worshiping a white Jesus. You gotta understand that although it sometimes looks like some of us are more brainwashed than the others, um, right? You know, Stockholm syndrome is a hell of a drug, and I think we all got it. I don't think it matters
Yeah.
where
There
you
was
at, where
somebody
you
explaining
from.
that to me earlier. She was making a lot of sense. I was just trying to hear your perspective on it, but you know what I mean? Because I was in somebody else's live and they were making a lot of sense too. So I was on the defense of that. And I'm like, again, I have parents from the diaspora, so I kind of understood where they was coming. But I spoke to a lady earlier, and she kind of like she kind of said the same thing you're saying, and it did make a lot of sense to me. But I know I just like the way you talk. You kind of elaborate on things. That's why I was asking for your
Yeah,
perspective.
nah, I get it. You know, I'm just trying to say that's that's the thing is I see on the African continent there some I had an African woman come on my live one time and kind of explained it to me. She said it's like the difference between a tiger with a chain or a shackle on his foot and a tiger in a cage. Like, one of them knows that they're in bondage and the other one feels like this is my cage. African people on the continent, they feel like they suffer from the same, white brainwashing. Dr. Umar,
Right.
it takes a little bit of white brainwashing to activate the coon in the average Negro,
Right.
like, yeah. So they fall victim to the same stuff because they've learned to look at Europeans as saviors. A lot of times, the only times they see Europeans is when they come in with Red Cross or coming to save the day from the mess that they created. But because the puppet strings are more invisible to them, they look at the Europeans and say they want to move to Europe, they want to move to Africa, not understanding that the reason you're moving from Africa is because of the Americans and the Europeans. So why would you want to move to America and Europe? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, like, it's this.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
What you have to understand, Yelly, is it Yelly?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have grown up in uh, a military family, so I got to travel a lot as a kid, right? So I was all over the world by the time I was 12 years old. So grew up these all that
looking up.
stuff, right? But did a Marine Corps, because of course I'm socialized into this whole thing, this military complex, at one point in my life, and I saw it all over again as an adult, right? And I saw literally how this country, the United States of America, um, took it upon itself to completely decentralize governments that were run by brown people. That's what they did. That's what they do all over Africa, all over Central America. Okay, and when you realize, I mean, here's the thing I'm trying to get. This is the thing that a lot of black people still don't understand is the okey doke that the colonizers, that like what the social psychological situation that black people, not only just in America but in Africa, like the host was saying, the psychological and the social and cultural ramifications of what the Danish did, what the Spanish and the French and the English and the Belgians, what those five countries did to Africa and brown countries is just astounding. I mean, you can't even. to try and talk about it on this, we would be on this brother's live for the next 5 years, bro. It's deep. It's so freaking deep, and it's hurtful. It's sinful what they did. This is an anti-black country. America is. It's an anti-black globe. When you look at all the Brazilian stars that play for football teams, soccer teams in Spain or Portugal, the amount of racism that these young men endure just to go play soccer, a game that they love. This is what you're dealing with. We deal with it here on a daily in the United States of America as black people. That's just yeah.
Yeah, I was saying earlier how like I have a theory that we're actually the superior race, and I know it might sound a little racist, but when you
careful, man, we on TikTok.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Don't say that again.
But when you think about it, like all over the globe, wherever you see people of color like throughout the diaspora, or I think we set the trend, and every time you have periods of time in history, like even in American history, where the foot was off our necks for a little bit, we prospered so fast and so strong that they started bombing us. And I think that there's just a little bit, because I feel like how could you dislike a particular people so much? I don't see the logical reason other than they're scared. You know what I mean? Because everywhere you go, it's the same thing. That's just my theory on it. I don't know, but
you got to read the ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. It's called.
Put that in the comments if you can. I'll screenshot it and look into it.
Everybody, let him know about the Cress theory. CRESS theory. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, the ISIS papers, because that's his brain computer is what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing calls it. Your brain computer is basically computing exactly what the Cress theory is about. And it's a framework to understanding the origins of white racism and supremacy. So if you want to talk about that, yeah.
How you spell that again? Because I didn't see it in the comments. I'm going to just jot it down.
Okay, it's Dr. Francis, Frances, France with an S at the end.
Yeah.
Cress, CRESS, and then Welsing, WELSING. She has lectures on YouTube. She's my top three. She's my top three because not only is it valuable information, but it resonates so heavy that 10 minutes into her lecture in 2010, she has the best lecture. Well, I won't say that's the best one, but it's a very good one. 2010. Every 10 minutes, she'll blow your mind. Like
I'll look into it.
Yeah, like even no matter how short your attention span may be, she just keeps delivering, and it's all facts because she's a clinical psychologist. She was a professor at Howard University. She's the real deal, and her work is built on a framework of counter racism by Dr. Neely Fuller. Yes, like I'm just saying, I'm giving her slightly her credentials, but she's possibly the most important or one of the most important black scholars when it comes to understanding racism. I don't know who's more important than her. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. There's other people are important in different ways.
Right.
Yeah, she going have fun with that. All right. Let me
Brother Legend, I'm gonna go. I gotta go work out. Dude, love you, man. I love you.
Yes,
I love
sir.
you. I love you. I love you.
Yes,
You
sir.
are a
Love
good
you,
man. You're a good brother. And yeah, I'll be back.
All right, man. Keep on the good fight.
You know I am. So I'll yell at you soon.
Always. All right,
All right, brother.
Peace. Tia, what's going on?
Hey, peace.
Hey.
I just came up to address the brother below me because in Timothy's live, like maybe 2 days ago, we literally unpacked this entire conversation, and I was letting him know that, you know, you need to be careful about how you're phrasing things because it can come across very anti-black, not to mention ahistorical. You need to go and do the reading respectfully, no shade. You need to do the
Okay,
reading.
yeah. So
And
that's
when you,
crazy. That's
if you
ironic.
don't,
You're the one I was talking to. I said that. That's the lady I was speaking to a lady who made a lot of sense of it. But I know the way that you break it down to me, and this isn't nothing. I wasn't up here, you know. I just like the way he speaks. Like he literally, for
yeah,
me, every time
I'm
I
not
heard live.
offended that you like the way he speaks. I'm saying because I keep hearing these talking points and I've heard them multiple times from you
No,
that
no, not from me. I was on the live with you once. I think. If you're the lady
yeah,
that if
I'm
you
not
saw me
saying
once.
that you had the conversation with me. I'm saying that I've heard them multiple times. And we are having this issue on this app and in real life with people making commentary and comparisons between people and places that they are not well informed about. And that is the problem. So if we don't know the history of places and people and things, we would do well to not speak on them, especially if we are spreading information and we are speaking to them in an anti-black sense. That is not helping to propel us forward. That it's not.
Yeah,
And
that's why I
I
like lives
explained
like
this to
these where I
you.
could be, you know, educated and I'm
If
open
you
to
could just let
listening
me
and
finish, I explained this to you. I gave you several examples. Brother Legend has spoken about this before, that for one, we cannot be making judgments about each other as black people without analyzing the framework in which we are existing in. And a lot of people are doing that type of thing. We're walking around calling each other docile and weak and conquered and all of that, but we do not know the politics that people are living under. We don't know the oppression, the nuances of the oppression that people are experiencing. That is effectively like somebody calling our ancestors who were enslaved weak and docile because they didn't like escape slavery. Like, that is completely absent of the mechanics of slavery that would stop someone from simply just walking off of a plantation or rising up against their enslavers. Like, it is completely insensitive, and it lacks just a lot in the places where you have black people who are in the majority. That when you remove the legality of something like slavery, those people and those people who were in control of slavery, those enslavers, had to come up with another way to be able to keep control over that demographic of people without the assistance of something like slavery. And so, and this is literally written about. I've made several videos about this. I've spoken to other Jamaican people, other Caribbean people to explain, because a lot of times when Caribbean people specifically think that they're not experiencing racism, it's because they've been taught it's something else. It's not that it doesn't exist. And that was on purpose. They had to convince you that race was not at play because you're in a dynamic where they're outnumbered. So if people know what's going on, if that race is at the center of their lived experience, they're galvanized to stand up and to do something about it. It's known as creolization, that nationalization, to get people to band together, different types of people that are on that island or in a respective country, to band together despite their racial differences. So now you're ignoring your racial oppression to come together under a national identity. This happened in Jamaica. This is written about. This is a place, for example, just using that because that's where I'm from and I know the numbers off the top of my head. 92% black. 92% black. They literally creolized that nation to shut down the rebellion that they could not stop from black people rising up about their oppression. This is post-abolition of slavery. So all the places where you have this numerical imbalance, different opposite of the United States, you're going to see things like this at play. This is why people, it's not that they don't know that they're African. It's not that they don't acknowledge that they're black. It's that they have been pushed and fed this thing that we are one people. We are one island, one nation, one culture, even though they are majority black. They are majority African. Most of their culture comes from that majority. But they have been taught this by the colonial structures. So when people talk about, oh, independence and all the other kind of stuff, yeah, they're independent in theory, but in reality, their judicial system is still controlled by the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Their uh what else, there was something else I was going to say. That's still a lot of the mechanics of these countries are still controlled by the crown. The purse
Economy.
is still controlled by the crown. The
Mm-hmm.
economy is still controlled by the crown. The educational system is still controlled by the crown. So when people make these false comparisons, because they do not know the details of these things, between a place like the United States, for example, and pick any one of these islands, you don't realize that there's so many more similarities than you think. The only difference, the main glaring difference, is that in the United States, black people do not have the majority. And in a lot of these islands, they do have the numerical majority. But when you miseducate people to believe that race has nothing to do with their material conditions, why is that something they would pick up a mantle to fight over, unless they're educated specifically that way? So this is not about being docile. It's not about not knowing you're black or not making it first. It's about all the other things that all of us across the diaspora are dealing with in terms of colonization. It's just branded a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I mean,
implore
you went into depths with this one. Like,
I went into depth into Timothy's room too, but that's what I'm saying. I'm imploring you to go read up a little bit, even if it's just starting with where you're from. Learn about the nuances of blackness on those particular islands, and go from there. You will be able to connect the dots between your island, the broader Caribbean, the United States, the UK, and continental Africa, because the dots are there and they connect. But you have to know the history. You have to dig into the policy, how the nuances of those policy change to get those people to shut up, to calm them down. Because when you can make a people look radical compared to the masses, now everybody's like, man, you doing too much. Pipe down. And that's what happened in a lot of these places. That creolization got people to shut up. You doing too much. And look at ask anybody who's truly pro-black how they are ostracized amongst other black people. You know they what type of time they about to be on some rah-rah. They about to be talking that black stuff. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Oh man, my family started doing it.
Uh-huh.
My family started doing it. I'll be teaching them a little bit about Africa here and there, and now all of a sudden, oh yeah. Sometimes I don't want to hear about Africa all the time. I'm like,
Exactly. So
oh.
think about
I
that
say,
on a broader on a broader scale. Then you have policy to help to quell those things, to shut people down. You got socially people shutting each other down. You got non-black people who are able to say, yeah, I'm that too. Which I think is so weird when people be like, oh, you're not this, you're Bayesian or you're Jamaican or whatever. What's the difference between me as a black Jamaican and a white Jamaican? They still get to say they Jamaican. What's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and guess what? They're not mixing. My pushback to people all the time is, who are the 21 wealthy families on that island? And how many of them are black? None of them. And many of them have been on that island since the 1400s, and they do not mix. Their racial mixing of those families is exactly the same as when they got on them islands. If they were so creolized, why are their families not more black?
Right.
Why do we not own anything? We don't own none of the, what is it, the 10 pillars, or like hospital, education, all that stuff. There's no ownership, no reflection of that is black. So
I just wanted to say, one of your strong points to me that stood out was, that's like, criticizing the slave that didn't want to run away, and I think that was a powerful strong point. So,
well, my thing that I ask people a lot of times is, and this is why I was saying, you can't judge a people without understanding the framework that they're under, because when you put a people in a position of having to choose between their morality and their survival, how you gonna begrudge them for their choice?
Right.
You create a condition where they're like, I just want to live, but like, I also don't want to live like this. Either choice is a bad choice. And so what a lot of us are doing to each other is saying, are you weak because you lived under that? Like, you mad at me because I wanted to survive? You mad at me because I wanted to make sure my kid was good? Like,
Right.
that doesn't mean that I like the conditions that I'm under. That doesn't mean I'm okay with it. That means that for whatever the reason, my survival means more to me than how I have to survive. But because a lot of us don't bother to read nothing, and that's not directed towards anyone in particular, we make those kind of short-sighted judgments of each other. And where does that get us?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's a bar, Sister T. Thank you for bringing that out. And yeah, brother Yelly, you might want to start with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and you're gonna have a blast. If you really truly on that journey, on that path of consciousness, Black consciousness as a rejection of white supremacy and a retention of Africanity, then yeah, start with Francis Cress Welsing, and yeah, learning more about the diaspora. We can get into it. We have our meetings on Sunday, y'all, in the Discord on Sunday. Francis with an E in it, Yelly. It's Francis with an E, but you still find it if you type that in. Yeah, y'all, we have our meetings Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to join us, we be watching lectures. It's so fun, man. I love my Pan-African community.
So I got a question. Like, how do we combat something like that gracefully if we're in that situation with a particular person? Doesn't matter where they're from the diaspora. Like, how would you know what I mean, if you come across a fellow, Black brother, sister that has these ideologies, and how would you
What
combat
ideologies?
that in a graceful way?
What ideologies?
Like, just things
Oh,
that's,
like what you were saying before?
yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Someone did say in the comments, teach. Stokely Carmichael, one of the leaders in the civil rights movement, one of the original founders of, one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party said, the man who coined the phrase Black Power, said, when they slap, we bow. When they slap, we bow. But if they keep slapping, some of them are just going to have to be off. We're just going to let them be off, and we're going to walk away. H. Rap Brown, okay. Somebody know, I'm talking about that exact lecture. Somebody know what I'm talking about down there, Charles Smith. I see you. Yeah, H. Rap Brown was there too. Man, I love it when the comments know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so his name was Stokely Carmichael at the time. He went on to become Kwame Ture. But yeah, that's how he said we should deal with them. They slap, we bow, because those are our people, and we understand the context, the reason they think that way. It's not because they chose to, like Sister Tia said. They have to choose between their morality and survival. And survival says that in order to explain away cognitive dissonance, it's easier to just have Stockholm syndrome to survive. So we understand some of our brothers and sisters can't take it all in. But that being the case, we give them grace, and then don't mean turn the other cheek. It means if they fighting too hard, they are going to be a threat. We don't welcome them in, but they slap, we bow, and then at some point we just walk away, because it's not our job to try to convince anybody. We need those that already
Example
are
of,
with
of
us.
what I'm saying is, like, if you come across a Candice Owens, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you
Oh
approach
yeah,
it?
no, see that's what I'm saying. We ain't bowing to her. We out. She is fully embraced. Remember, I told you there's four ways to respond to systemic oppression. Yeah, I do need to move on to the next guest. There's four ways to respond to systemic oppression: submission, cooperation, resistance, and retaliation. Candace Owens is submission. She's beyond submission. I mean, she's beyond submission. She's like recruiting for submission. She's trying to get other people to submit. Like she beyond help. Yes, she on a whole different other kind of timing with what she doing. We don't she black. No one can take that from her. But she ain't pro black. She ain't with us. She trying to build with them. And that is why her man is white T, which brings us back to our topic. You cannot be pro-black with a non-black spouse. Africa debunked. I see you up here, but we got some new guests. We'll come back to you. The Messiah, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
38. is Mike.
And your race?
38. My name is Mike.
Yes, sir. Your race? What is your
My
race?
race. My
Yeah,
race?
yeah.
What does that have to do with, what does that have to do with anything?
We're having a discussion about race. You don't want to. If it makes you uncomfortable, then this ain't the
No,
discussion
no.
for you, buddy.
Okay, I'm biracial.
Okay. What?
So,
Biracial is not a
um,
race. That's a description.
okay, I'm white. Just say I'm white. I'm white. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
All right.
Um, so
I blocked him. We ain't calling no white man Messiah on my live. Anyway, moving. He came up here, thought we was gonna call him the Messiah. Oh no. You are on the wrong live. This is the wrong live. This is for advanced Garveyites, okay? This is advanced level Pan-Africanism. He tried. He definitely tried. We ain't calling no white man the Messiah on my live. You're good. Have a day, sir. Um, again, I said, a day. Have a day. I'm good on that. We're gonna go to the next guest. I think that's a mouse emoji, a rat emoji. I don't know why you got that, but give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hey, what's up, brother? I'm Jamaican, 30 age, and I'm black.
All right,
So,
talk to us, brother.
all right, so I want to touch on the point that the lady was talking about earlier. She was saying that most people in the Caribbean and diaspora are somewhat brainwashed because of what we were taught. But I want to object with what she was saying. Regarding our motto that all of us say from we were younger age and we grow up, we understand that out of many, we are one people. So we don't have this thing as the US where it's a race war kind of thing. It's black against white.
Yes, you
We,
do.
you follow me? You follow me?
No, you do. You have that.
Yeah. So
You
we
have
grew up
that. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not is the question, but you definitely have that.
out of many one people. We don't have a thing where we consider a white person better, or we're just one people.
They consider themselves better than you, and that's why they still have such an influence in your land.
Brother.
Well, the Chinese have influence on my land, not just white. The Indians have influence on my land. Talking about
But yet you speak in English. You're not speaking to me in Chinese.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
of
wherever the colonizer go, the colonized pick up their language. You're speaking to me in English. Do you know Chinese?
course not.
Until you know Chinese, your colonizer is in Europe.
I love when Jamaicans bring up the motto because that is literally a tool of the creolization that I mentioned before. And I use this paper so much on this app because Jamaicans love to fight me on this. Hold on.
Uh-oh. She got a receipt.
Hey, some of y'all seen this before. I've used this several times.
Oh, she turning page. She got a book.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay,
This is
hold
the
on. We might have to...
name. This is the name of the article. Examining race in Jamaica. There's a whole section on nation building ideology. Give me a second to find. So it mentions here how the elites led nation-making projects to unify people from different racial backgrounds. They promoted a Creole or multiracial framing of population diversity. And that was aided by a discourse about exceptionalism. The political project deployed hybridity, the mixture of European and West African, as a mobilizing and integrating force used to define the country. And this source here explained that nationalist efforts towards creating a Jamaican identity resembled classical European nationalism, which was founded in the notions of a common history and a common culture rather than race. To safeguard this notion of commonality between all racial groups on the island, there was racial discourse and ideologies and were marked as divisive and were repressed. Thus, leading up to independence, politicians attempted to foster a one people national ideology. An example of this national frame of racial frame of national origin in the 20th century is the nation's official motto, out of one, many people. It is further illustrated by the evolution of mixed cultural forms, as Jamaican culture is presently perceived as an amalgamation of all racial and ethnic populations on the island. While this amalgamation may exist to a certain extent, scholars have noted that artificial qualities of both assumed creolization and non-racial framing in Jamaica, the policy centering hybridity effectively marginalized the country's majority Black population. Moreover, this policy helped to decenter race as a legitimate factor for structuring inequality and to replace race with class-based notions of the island's social stratification. This tendency, however, obscures how class and race were co-constitutive in Jamaican society. Lighter-skinned, mixed-race, and non-Black Jamaicans obtained higher class status through race-based colonial structures. This ideology of creolization with its marginalization of the role of race in social structuring served as legitimizing framework that was similar to mestizaje in Latin America and the Spanish-speaking Caribbean. Creolization partially enabled the domination of light-skinned, mixed-race, middle-strata Jamaicans in post-independence politics. So again, I know what I'm talking about, and I have the scholarship to back it up.
Well, hold on. We got to give it up for that sister. That's wow. I feel like they use some of those same tactics in different parts of Africa, and they even using it a little bit here in America. A lot of brothers will come up and tell you, oh, no, it's not about race. It's about class, man. You know, it's not about the spider. It's about the web. We just got to change the system, man. We just got to change the web.
The class in Jamaica was literally
Continue.
literally predicated on race. It was built on the after the abolition of slavery. If you need a book reference, this is a really good book to explain all of that.
Who wrote this book?
Really
Don't
good
mind me
book.
asking. Who wrote this book?
Sorry?
Who wrote this book?
Here's the author right here.
And when it was written? If you don't mind me
There you
asking.
go with the back of it.
I don't know. I'm only
We
seeing.
can't see your screen, Tia. Are you going to type it?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there goes your screen.
Okay. So here's the front of the book and the author.
So it was written 18. Too fast. 18.
Sorry. Those are the years that it covers. So this really gets into how the society was structured after slavery was abolished, and it breaks down how race was used to construct the classism on the island, and it gets into very good detail. So here again is the paper that talks about the race that I just read from, and also this gets into how policy was used to elevate the Chinese on the island that they brought over to replace the slave labor. And that is the reason why they still command the grocery sector on the island. That's from almost 100 years ago.
All right, let me touch on a point you made. You said the colonial structure, the colonial structure benefit light skin or white. I have lived on the island for many years. Many of my adult years I've lived on that island. And it's never been proven during my social interaction, getting jobs, dealing with my fellow man. It's never been proven that white or light skin get treated better or get any other privilege. We all have to do a job interview. We all have to get a proper education to be qualified for said job. There is no benefit as I hear when I'm here in the
No
US.
offense, Mr. Ratman. But you can't come back from actual published source written by a professor that was also was he Jamaican to you? I seen it said where he was from on the back. I don't know if that was in Jamaica or wherever.
But this
You
is the
can't
real.
come back from a published source.
He was a
Let me.
lecturer at UWI. I'm not sure if he's Jamaican,
Real life
but
Okay,
he was
all
a
right.
example.
lecturer.
But you can't come back from a published source with an
The real.
anecdote saying that when you get jobs, you don't feel like it's racist. Because your
Well,
experience is not the
let me
experience of all black people.
Then
and
who can I talk to?
can I just say this to disprove what you just said? Like I said earlier, how many of the 21 families are black? No need to respond. Secondly, what year did the first, I don't can't remember if it's dark skin or black person get hired in the banking system? No
Mm,
need to respond.
okay.
That's proof of your point right there.
And
And it
somebody
is
down there,
addressed in this article.
Those
somebody
people.
else down there is proving the point when they talking about the
Mm-hmm.
colorism and the bleaching. Um,
Afrocentrism. I don't want to touch on that. I just want to stick on the point of what she said? Colonial.
Colonialism,
Yeah,
colonialism,
with light skin and white is make
let me see.
they
colorism.
are getting a white. They're getting preference over social hierarchy in
Um,
the country. That's not true.
um, it is true. I was born and raised in Jamaica.
There are
It
a
is
lot of
very
Oh,
much true. It is
let me
very much true.
there's a lot of white families there in Jamaica, the Matalan, the Azan. We know of those families in Jamaica that came from wealth and they're continuously in wealth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just a family thing. It's not like, oh, a black family work hard and make money. They're not going to be able to own jets and stuff like that. That's not true. That's impossible. Me being light or white skin in my country can't stop me from buying a jet. It's based off
See,
of the
doesn't
hard work that I put in. You see what I'm
so
saying?
so why no? So why on an island that is 92% black, there is no reflection of black people in any sectors on that island, not in education, not in health, not in the energy sector, none of those things. All of those things are controlled by the 21 wealthy families, none of whom are black, and many of whom have been on that island since the 1400s, meaning that
That's
they
why.
were there
That's
during
why. That's
slavery.
why. That's why.
They were
Because they
there
were
dur-
there. That's
but
why.
but
It's
what I'm
not
saying,
because they're black or white. It's
what you're
not
not getting,
it's because they
what you're
were
not
there.
getting, respectfully, what you're
Mhm.
not getting is that it ain't no different
That's
than
why.
the
Because they
slave
were
money
there from
You
the
that
know,
was
start.
used in the United States. All them people, those families that were wealthy on the back of the slave system and are still wealthy
Where that's
now,
from.
and that
That's
same money was used to build businesses that are
not
have been in business for hundreds of years
not
and
disagreeing with that. Not disagreeing with that. You're
millions and
correct.
millions and millions of dollars. That is something that black people have systematically been kept out of. That is thanks
Can't be
to
kept
slavery,
out of
all
it.
right,
to
all right.
race, and there's a
Inheritance.
reason. You don't find it suspicious. You don't find it suspicious that several groups of people that only make up collectively 8% of a population have kept their families clean of black people for over 500 years. You don't find that suspicious? You don't think race has anything to do with that? You don't think it's suspicious that a dark-skinned person wasn't in the banking system, wasn't hired in a bank till the 60s on an island that is 92% black? You don't
Mm,
find that suspicious? You don't
mm,
find it suspicious that Chinese people on that island who were brought in 1925 and were less than 1% of the population got 25% of the licensing to be in the grocery sector, and who's still running now in
Because
2024?
that's a tax
mm.
system.
You don't think that has anything to do with
no,
race?
come on
You don't
now.
find that
Come on now.
suspicious?
Come
Listen,
on, it
y'all.
has everything to do with race because like I always start to say, out of many, all of them are standing on the backs of black Jamaican people in order to get to where they are.
Mm,
Out of many, only them are prospering. Out of many, only the Chinese, Lebanese, Syrian, Whitey, Jamaicans are the ones that are prospering in Jamaica. They control, like Tia said, they control the entire business infrastructure in Jamaica. They control it all. They
mm-hmm.
control it all. And they have the reason why they gave that YT doctrine of out of many one people is in order to fool the black majority into thinking, well, everyone else is on an equal playing field. No, you are not. This is why 92% of the Black Jamaican population have a harder time financially, economically, socially than any other group on the island. It is the truth. And we have to admit to the truth now. We cannot just say that these people who are, like Tia just pointed out, 8% of the population lording over still 92% of the people who built Jamaica. Our blood is in the sugar, in the rum, it's in everything. Stand up in Sam Sharp Square. What do you see there but the little dungeon they used to put the slaves in? Come on now. Let's be honest here. And if you don't have that, brother, you need to wake up. Wake up to it.
Tell me, you
Because they
broke.
control everything on the island. Hold on there, Tia. Let me screenshot the book, please. Can I screenshot it?
Yeah, go ahead, screenshot it.
We will no longer tell these lies. And the truth of it, that's the truth of the matter. Just like Haiti is owned and controlled by Syrian and small cap descended Spanish JEWS. Okay? It's just the truth. It's the truth. And they use slave labor to build their capital for hundreds of years in Jamaica. And this is why they're still in control. They're still in control.
That's
Look
like
here.
saying the
Additionally, as a
Rothschilds.
measure to
But
prevent
look at the
the
first two
East
prime
Indians
ministers of Jamaica,
and
man.
Yeah, they're
the
white.
Black
Yeah,
Americans
Yeah,
from
Norman
uniting
Manley. Then you get Alexander Bustamante, bro. Like,
not disagreeing with that.
yeah,
but they
but
own
it don't add
nothing.
up to
That's
you.
the point. That's the point you're not getting. Look here. Even as a
Oh
measure
my
to
bad.
prevent East Indians and Afro Jamaicans from uniting to resist exploitation, the colonial state deliberately enforced policies to segregate or separate the two groups, and creating animosity between those two groups. They achieved the East Indians achieved economic standing as merchants via favorable governmental policies. That is literally racism. Like, what are y'all talking about? Access and mobility in Jamaica were historically structured along racial and color lines and were woven into the fabric of daily life. They have only told us that it's classism, but it is classism that is predicated on race. Please, like, stop it. Even here in the United States, that classism that allows a portion of the class to be educated in a certain way, they allow those people to turn their nose down on people who can't afford that same education. When you ain't got no school fee, you can't afford school fee to send your kids to a proper school and get proper education so they can get a certain type of job. Now all of a sudden you are a certain class of people. You're people who couldn't pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It is the same thing rebranded for a place where we are in the majority. We have been miseducated, and it's okay to admit that. It's okay.
It's like saying the Rothschilds shouldn't own all the banks because they got it from slavery and those stuff. They're a minority. Yes, they are white, just like other white people, but they're a minority of rich families. Just like in Jamaica. I'm not
All right, y'all. Listen, we've hit cognitive dissonance, and I'm sure we aren't going to convince this brother of anything. So we just
Why would
going.
you think that? I've come to the US just like my fellow brothers and sisters. I work hard. I bought my house in.
All right, he gonna continue talking about himself. All right. Yeah, man. Shout out to my Jamaican Garveyite brothers and sisters, man. I got mad respect for my Jamaican brothers and sisters, man. Mad love for y'all. Mad respect. You don't know. I think out of all the Africans in the West, the Jamaicans have definitely been the blueprint for even a lot of African American culture and a lot of just black culture in the West. Jamaican people, man, we got big love for y'all, especially where I'm from, up in the East Coast. So, I think I learned a lot just now. I hope everybody listening did too. And I know about Sister Tia. One thing about her, she don't play. She brought them receipts up. That was wild. Everybody, y'all gotta check out Sister Tia, cause every time she get on the panel, you gonna learn something. She gonna let somebody know something, and she's our project director over at B1 Initiative. She's working with us building Sankofapedia, an Afrocentric version of like Wikipedia. It's called Sankofapedia. It is going to be Afrocentric and unapologetic, a resource to teach our children. If you want to
Do
learn
you guys
more,
have like a link or something where you could donate to that,
yeah,
or help or something like that?
yeah, it's in my bio, b1initiative.org. You can donate. We're really asking for more brothers and sisters to join us in our Discord, also in the link in my bio. B1 Initiative is a nonprofit, tax deductible 501c3. We're building resources for the next generation so that they can learn about their history from us, and through our perspective of our ancestors. We're going to speak on things like what Sister Tia just said. We're going to teach Jamaican children and African children worldwide, not just on the continent, but African diaspora everywhere, the true history of Jamaica through the Afrocentric perspective. And see, that's the difference between what she was saying and what he was saying. He was using the Eurocentric perspective of Jamaica's history. Sister Tia was giving the Afrocentric perspective. That means the African centered view of Jamaican history and how that motto came to be. So that's just a small example of what we're going to have on there, man. I really appreciate you bringing that up, Sister Tia. Let me go to the next guest. Saeed, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. All right. Yeah, man. Shout out to the Jamaicans, them. Uh, Tika Beauty, did you want to say anything else?
No, it's just that when because I have great admiration for Tia as well. A young sister who is always coming with straight facts.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to when people it's amazing how much pushback you get from other Jamaican people when you point that out to them. It's because I grew up, indoctrinated into it. We are a very nationalist people. We are very proud of our heritage. We're very proud of our country, but we have to understand that certain things in our nation has not changed because of the simple fact that we as the dominant group in Jamaica, the largest population of people, the African people.
Well, hold on. Well, who is talking? Who is talking? Does anyone see? I don't know who's talking. What in the world? Who is talking? Yo, did somebody?